Hi, I'm Jula with Eat Like Me. Today I'm going to be making some ribs. Now I'm sure you all had some really good ribs out there, but I'm also sure that you've had them where they've been tough, dry, oiled, and flavorless. If you follow these steps that I'm going to show you today, I'm sure you're going to be able to eat ribs consistently that are going to be fall off the bone, flavorful, tender, and you'll be making them constantly because they're going to be so good. So stay tuned, and I hope you get to enjoy this video. I'm going to start by doing a dry rub for the rack. While there's a lot of great sauces out there, I find a lot of times people use it to compensate for a set of ribs that came out not so good. Maybe they came out tough, flavorless, and they just put a lot of sauce on there to help it out. If you do the rack right, where they come out tender and smoked, and you get a nice dry rub on there, and they're falling off the bone, you usually don't have to add any sauce on there whatsoever. You still can if you like, but try them with the dry rub on there when the ribs come out good, and chances are you won't be putting any sauce on there. So first I'm going to start by using equal parts of garlic powder and onion powder. Then I'm going to put some sugar in there. Some curry powder. Not a lot. Some fresh ground pepper. And my favorite, some fresh paprika. Then I'm just going to stir these ingredients together. And you should get a color that kind of looks like that. Now here are my rack of ribs. These are St. Louis ribs. You can either do baby back or St. Louis. I like the St. Louis because they're a little bit meatier. And we're about to put the dry rub on here. So now we're going to take this dry rub and we're just going to liberally put it over the rack. If you have some left over, just save it for next time. So this is what we're looking at now. Now there are a lot of different smokers out there. What's important is that one, you smoke your meat at a lower temperature, like between 275, maximum 300. And the other thing is, too, is that you smoke it over indirect heat. Now what I mean by that is that your meat is not directly over the heat source. This way the fat doesn't drip on the heat, flare up, and burn your meat. It also allows it to cook a little bit more evenly. The third thing is I recommend natural hardwood charcoal. This way you don't get any foul odors or tastes from the other types of charcoal out there. and also putting on hardwood for the smoking. So you can get all different kinds of hardwoods. There's hickory out there, you can use mesquite, you can use cherry, applewood, all different kinds out there. My favorite are hickory and cherry. The cherry produces a really good flavor on the meat, and that's what I'm using here today. So this is my smoker set up here. I have a bowl over my heat source, probably hard to see from all that smoke, but that's going to block the direct heat going to my meat. And I'm about to put the ribs on now. Okay, so here we go. We'll come back and check on this in about a couple hours. So you guys can sit back and have a beer, whatever you want to do. And when we come back, they should be looking real nice. Now, before I mentioned making ribs consistently well, and there's a lot of different ways to make ribs. Some people smoke them the whole time. Some people will put them in the oven and slow cook them. So when you smoke them the whole time, you almost need to be an expert to get that right every time. Sometimes they come out dry. It's hard to maintain the temperature depending on your smoker. When you put them in the oven, you just lose that whole smoke experience. So we're going to do things a little bit differently. What we're going to do is we're going to smoke them for about 2 to 2.5 hours, between 275, 300. And then we're going to take them out, and then we're going to put them on a bed of onions on a pan, put a little bit of water on the bottom, put the rack of ribs on top, cover them tightly with some tin foil, and then finish them off in the oven, same temperature, about 275, for like another 2 hours. And these ribs are going to come out perfect. They're going to fall off the bone. They're going to taste great because they've been smoking for over 2 hours. And that's exactly where you want them. So we're going to let these sit for a couple hours and stay tuned. And we'll come back and show you how to set it up in the pan and put them in the oven. Okay, so what I've done here is quarter up some yellow onions and put them in the bottom of the roasting pan. And I also filled the bottom up with about a 1/2 inch of water. This will prevent our rack of ribs from sticking to the bottom of the pan and possibly charring or burning. The onions will also give it another layer of flavor, and the water will steam in the oven, also making the ribs more tender. All right, so this is looking really good. They've been on a little bit over 2 hours. I'm going to go ahead and take this off and put it in my roasting pan and transfer it into the oven. Just want to try and center them on this bed of onions. That looks good. We're going to cover this roasting pan tightly with tin foil. Try not to let any of the moisture escape so we can keep these ribs moist and not dry out. Then we're going to transfer them in the oven and continue cooking them at 275 for about 2 hours. All right, so it's been a couple hours. I'm about to take my ribs out. All right, let's take this tin foil off. Ooh. Wow, look at that. That looks amazing. Hopefully I can take these out without them falling apart. Ooh, that might be a challenge. I suggest you use a couple pairs of tongs when you're ready for this, because they would definitely fall apart on you. All right. So, I was gonna use a knife, but I don't even think I need them. Look at this. Comes right apart. Yeah. And you see how it's pink like that? That's not because they're undercooked. That's from the smoke penetrating. Awesome. I hope this video helps you to make your ribs more flavorful and tender. Please subscribe to my channel and look out for other videos.